Hey, everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Advocate Information Highway. I'm your host, Lorito-Duke, and we have a really important topic for today's show, and it's a good one. It is basically the primary elections are basically over, and now it is time to really focus on the November elections. So let's get right into this. I'm sure you've all been seeing it that primary a lot of the primary election results have been put out there and stuff like that. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, anyhow, at least for the most part, for now, primary elections are done and over with. And you know, the primary elections are important, but it's basically to just find out who's going to represent the Democratic Party and who's going to represent the Republican Party for whatever elections. So, because there's a lot of local elections coming up soon and as well as, for Congress and stuff. So the primary elections are basically to just find out who's representing uh, your area for the Democratic Party and who's representing your area for the Republican Party. So that's basically it. So right now, in my opinion, for any elected official that's running for like local elections, like governor or whatever, this is now the time to really focus for the November elections, like I said. But this is now the time to really fix like your local government agencies, like for your food stamps here, and so on and so forth, and also to fight for proper bail reform law. Especially like with these teen takeovers that's going on and stuff like that. And stuff like that. All these big things, and especially like this is really important for the Democrats to really do now. It's great that what they're fighting for right now, that's great, but now it's time to raise that bar even higher. And especially if you're going for like things for like governor and stuff like that, now it's time to raise that bar even higher. Continue fighting for everything you've been fighting for. Don't give that up. But now it's time to raise that bar and really add to it and to fix your local government agencies, like I just mentioned, and to fix your broken bail reform laws, and stuff like that. To really other really important things that's going on in your state and whatever else. It's time to raise that bar. And a lot of governors and stuff like that, they've been talking about, how they're fighting against ICE and stuff like that. And that's great. But now it's time to also show that how you're fighting against how ICE is acting, but you now also need to include how uh, your local law enforcement agencies, like your local police departments, will work together with ICE to properly get things done the correct way. Now, that brings me to the part for about people that are running for Congress. I know, especially the Democrats who have been fighting against how ICE has been acting and doing things lately. And that's really important. That's great. Keep that momentum going. But now it's time to raise that bar and add things to that. And it's to say, instead of getting rid of ICE and, because people are saying, just get rid of ICE, just get rid of ICE. No. Just like people used to say, just get rid of all police departments. We don't need them. That's baloney. That's stupid talk. Now it's time to say how you plan to reform ICE. Okay? Time to reform things. Not get rid of things, reform them. Because now, like I said, this is now, especially for the Democrats, now is the time to really start to focus on the November elections and how you plan to get things done and what needs to really get done the proper way. Not get rid of, but reform things. Because, like I said before in prior episodes, come next year, 2027, a lot of governors from many, especially from Democratic states, they're going to have to send the information over to the federal government in regards to the error rates for their local government agencies, like the agencies that handle food stamps and stuff like that. Because come next year, especially the Democratic states, if they don't meet all the proper requirements that the federal government has stipulated, in regards to the error rates, because you have to bring those error rates down to a certain percentage in order to continue to receive federal government funding, okay, certain information has to be sent to the federal government. And then, and to show that if your state went down to that certain error rate percentage that's allowed by the federal government. Because if your state does not meet that percentage that's allowed by the federal government, then those states won't receive the funding from the federal government. Or at least not as much. And that's really important for each state to have. Because otherwise, those states are going to have to flip the bill. And that's going to be tough for those particular states. So, like I said, it's really important to start to raise the bars now, especially for the Democratic Party. You guys have been doing great, and it's been showing in the polls and stuff like that. But now it's time to raise that bar even higher and to keep doing the things you've been doing, but add to that now. Like I said, get on your local government agencies, bring that error rate down to that allowed percentage. Show that you're fixing the broken bail reform laws. Show, especially on these teen takeovers, show it now that you're willing to fix all these things and stuff. That's really important to start to really show now. Because now is the time to really start to focus on the November elections, and the debates that are going to be coming up. Now is the time to really start to focus on that for the local elections, like for governors and stuff, but also for Congress as well. So I wanted to mention that, but I also want to remind all my fans out there that in regards to the two shows that I host on Spreaker.com, one is titled Super Advocate, and the other is titled Disabled Reality. For both of those shows, I have a specific website. I mentioned this before in the prior episodes. That website is titled Super Advocate. The link to there is superadvocate.codeadx.me. And while you're on this website, you guys will also see a tab on there called promo codes. If you guys click on that tab, you'll see a bunch of promotions on there. And out of all those promotions, all of us at Super Advocate, which is the show that I hosted right before I hosted this show, all of us at Super Advocate, we support 4 of those promotions. And those 4 promotions are Wear Playground, Chill Boys, Hypernatural, and Old Glory. These are great businesses. They got great websites. They got great products at great prices. I highly recommend you guys go check them out. You guys can shop to your heart's content. But I also want to remind all my fans out there about my other website, which is titled Advocate Information Highway. The link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that's AIHNY.com. You guys can check out all the pages on there, but I just want to mention just a few of the pages that's on there. One page is titled Blog. Another page is titled Shows. Another page is titled Internet Store on Zazzle. And another page is titled Bookstore on Amazon. Now, especially for the page titled Shows, if you guys go to that page, you guys can also listen to both all the episodes of both of my shows that I host here on Spreaker.com that I just mentioned. But also on this page, you guys can also listen to and watch all the episodes of this show, Advocate Information Highway, AIH for short, that I host here on YouTube. But I also want to mention that also on the show's page of my website of Advocate Information Highway, you'll see two links on there. One link is to the supports page for my show, Super Advocate. The other link is to the supports page for my other show, Disabled Reality. And if you guys click on those two links, you guys can pay to be members for each show. Meaning that if you click on the link to the supports page for my show, Super Advocate, and you pay, like, let's say $10 or whatever it is per month for that show, that's what you'll be the member for. You'll be a member for that particular show. But let's say if you click on the link to the supports page for my other show, Disabled Reality, and you pay the $10 or whatever it is per month, then you'll be the member for that particular show. So I wanted to clear that up because a lot of people have been asking me about that. So I wanted to clear things up about that. So I wanted to mention all that. And like I said, also on the show's page, you guys can listen to all the episodes, and you guys can listen to and watch all the episodes for this show, Advocate Information Highway, that I host here on YouTube as well, on the show's page of my website of Advocate Information Highway. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.